Hello, everyone. This is TTOR. I will be hosting a live show on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to join the show, bring a working microphone and either a webcam or an avatar. The link to the room will be in the live chat of the streaming locations that the live stream will be streaming to. God bless. Hello there, everyone. If you're watching this video, then you are part of the TTOR Army, an army that is building itself up one subscriber at a time. Now, before we get into the topic of today's video, today I'd like to bring something very important to your attention, and that is YouTube censorship. YouTube censorship has been going on for about the past 9-10 years, possibly even longer, and all the YouTube alternatives that have sprung up since 2017 are more important today than they've ever been before. But there's two YouTube alternatives in particular that you should subscribe to me on if you're a fan of my content and you don't want to watch me on YouTube, where I could be removed at any given moment for no reason. The first such alternative is none other than Rumble, which you can see here on screen. Rumble is a YouTube alternative that is owned by Donald Trump's media company, thus making it Evil Orange Man's YouTube alternative. I just recently cracked 100 subs here on Rumble, and I get really good view counts on Rumble compared to my sub count. But some videos are practically viral relative to my sub count. We're talking videos with hundreds, even a couple thousand views. So Rumble is definitely a good place to get a lot of views, even if you're a small creator. I also do my weekly live streams at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on my Rumble channel, whether that be the TTOR show or God TV Radio. And Rumble has more freedom of speech than YouTube does. The topics that would get you insta-banned on YouTube, Rumble lets you talk about to your heart's content. So, if you're a fan of my work and you want to follow me on a YouTube alternative that does live streaming and that has a lot of people on the platform as well, well then I would encourage you to subscribe to my Rumble channel and check out my Rumble videos and live streams today. The other site you should subscribe to me on is Quarter, which is my very own open source alt tech alternative to YouTube that I started in May of 2022. It's every bit as functional as YouTube is in terms of what you would want. You got the HD video upload capacity, including 4K, live streaming, free restreaming, public playlists, easy to use, comment moderation system, but features you also can't find on YouTube, such as the ability to write articles where you can embed videos from any site in them, being able to post audio files and pictures instead of videos. You also have Quarter Bucks, you also have live video chat rooms that you can live stream to your channel from, and more. And freedom of speech on Quarter is even better than it is on Rumble. So if you want to support a real free speech site that is run by a content creator who can relate to you, a small creator like myself, well, I would encourage you to join Quarter and help me grow it today. Now that you know about my Rumble and my Quarter channels, today we need to talk about how Canada is trying to pass a law that would literally send anyone who commits hate speech to prison for life. Yes, a life sentence in prison for hate speech. I can just imagine it now. You're in the cell with your new bunkmate, a guy who's been in prison for at least 20 years, and he's a lifer. He's like, yeah, man, I'm in here because I slaughtered a whole family of like 15 people. What are you in for? Oh, I misgendered somebody. I mean, can you just imagine the, huh? That's it? Because in prison, they don't really care about that kind of stuff so much. Mostly because they're too busy doing other evil deeds. But yes, that is not a joke. That is not me making stuff up. I have an article by Not the Bee called Canadian Law Would Allow Judges to Hand Down Life Sentences for Speech Crimes. No, this isn't a joke. So if you're familiar with the Babylon Bee is a satire site. The people who run the Babylon Bee have their own regular news site called Not the Bee, and so what they do on this website is they post serious news stories that are not satire. So this story is real. Let's read the article, though. Oh, Canada. Queen Justine of Canada has decided that his seemingly limitless power to impose his will and ideology on Canadians isn't enough. A new hate speech law in Canada, billed as protection of children, would criminalize speech in Canada to an even greater degree and allow judges to imprison people for life. For life. And there's the post from Twitter that this information comes from, with a reference to an article about it. The law, as it is currently being presented, is redundant of other Canadian laws designed to protect kids online, something that everyone should support. However, there is language in the law that makes it clear that this is a Trojan horse of sorts for extreme government overreach. But the government spokesperson went on to confirm the shocking truth about the legislation, which is that it would put people in prison for life for things they've said, specifically advocating genocide. Bill C-63 would increase the maximum penalty specifically for advocating genocide from 5 years to life imprisonment, said an unnamed spokesperson for the Canadian government, and from 2 years to 5 years on indictment for the willful promotion of hatred, Section 319 of the Criminal Code. So the question is, who gets to decide what advocating genocide and willful promotion mean? Because I've got to tell you, I doubt this law was crafted with the pro-Palestine from the river to the sea folks in mind. I think it's much more likely, especially with the angle of protecting children, to be enforced against people who oppose a certain gender agenda. Just as an example, last year, the Daily Wire's Michael Knowles said that the ideology of transgenderism should be eradicated from public life, something that most Christians and conservatives would agree with. The left called Knowles' speech genocidal. And it gets worse than that. A new amendment says that any hate speech could be met with life in prison. And then we get a screenshot from the bill, and it says hate crime, offense motivated by hatred, 320.1001, 1 in parentheses. Everyone who commits an offense under this act or any other act of Parliament, if the commission of the offense is motivated by hatred based on race, national or ethnic origin, language, color, religion, sex, age, mental or physical disability, sexual orientation, or gender identity or expression, is guilty of an indictable offense and liable to imprisonment for life. So yes, a life sentence if you commit hate speech. So, under proposed Canadian law, would it be fair to think that a liberal judge could jail you for life for opposing transgenderism? What if you say homosexuality is a sin? Because we're told all the time that that sort of speech is hateful, and according to the letter of the law, hate towards certain sexualities and gender identities could land you in jail for life. This is quite literally the death of liberty. Welcome to New Pakistan, where you get executed for disagreeing with the woke prophets and gods. And what might count as advocating genocide? Today, there are prominent politicians around the world who say that supporters of Israel are advocating the genocide of the Palestinian people, and that supporters of Hamas are advocating genocide against Jewish people. Imagine if they were in power. Under Trudeau's legislation, would they not be able to send their political enemies to prison for life? It could be left up to the whim of the judge, and you'd have to hope that you'd have a compassionate or sane judge, and not a judge like, I don't know, the ones who shut down Canadian churches during COVID and threw pastors in jail. And if you don't think that some of these folks aren't looking for an excuse to jail all their enemies, then you don't know what time it is. So that's right, ladies and gentlemen. In Canada, they are trying to pass a bill that would imprison you for life if you commit hate speech. Yes. I know for myself that if such a law came into existence in the United States of America, I'd definitely be going to prison, because if you look at my channel, I have videos where I have condemned homosexuality in the context of presenting what the Bible says about homosexuality, which is that it's a sin, it's detestable in the eyes of God, all of which is supported by the Bible. So it really wasn't me so much saying it as it was me quoting what the Bible says. But the Bible is hate speech, according to officials in Canada. This has been something that's been going on for a long time. While I don't have the specific story pulled up in front of me, I remember when someone got arrested in Canada for spreading anti LGBT literature back in like 2013, 2014, something like that. And back then, Canadian officials were already in the process of claiming that even though the text of the Bible isn't supposed to be subject to hate speech laws, the fact of the matter is that the text of the Bible violates hate speech laws. So, the Bible containing hate speech is something that's been on the minds of Canadian politicians for years, because they love the things that the Bible condemns as sin, and so technically the Bible is just one big book full of hate speech in their eyes. So, someone like me, if such a law came into existence in America, I guess I'll be one of those lifers.